Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Back with you on a Tuesday, and thanks for joining me today. Really appreciate all of you being part of this community. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, share this with everyone you know, and jump into the comments because we read every single one and love having these conversations with you. The hot stove is still going, and today we need to talk about the waiting game the Dodgers are playing right now, specifically when it comes to their outfield situation and what's happening with Kyle Tucker. So here's where things stand. Yeah, the Dodgers are two-time defending World Series champions, and somehow they're still in a position of strength, which is wild to think about. But they're clearly playing it patient, slow playing their cards on right field to see how everything shakes out. Teoscar Hernandez is already locked in. There are rumors about potentially moving him to left or even making a trade, but the big name everyone keeps circling back to is Kyle Tucker, and we need to break down what's actually going on with him and why the Dodgers are content to just sit back and wait. Let's start with what Tucker brings. He's going to be 29 in January, right in his prime. He had back-to-back 30 home run seasons in 2021 and 2022, hit 29 in 2023, so almost 3 straight years of 30-plus bombs. Last year, he dropped off a bit, only played 136 games because of injuries. He had a hairline fracture in his hand from sliding, then strained his calf and almost missed the postseason because of it. Still managed to hit in the 260s with 22 homers, 73 RBIs, and 25 stolen bases. Also racked up 25 doubles, which matters a lot at Dodger Stadium because that ballpark isn't easy to hit out of, especially in April and September when the air is heavy. A guy who can consistently hit doubles at Chavez Ravine has real value, even if Shohei Ohtani makes it look easy. Now, Tucker's situation is interesting because there was some tension between him and the Astros over how that calf strain was handled. They wanted one approach, he wanted another, and that created some friction. He's 29, at the peak of his career, and he's looking for a decade-long contract in that $400 million range. There are suitors out there. The Blue Jays are heavily in the mix. He actually visited their spring training facility in Dunedin, and Toronto feels like they're on a mission after losing to the Dodgers in 7 games in the World Series. They came that close to winning it all, and now they're going hard after talent. So Tucker to Toronto is definitely a possibility, but it's not done yet. Boston's been mentioned, the Yankees have been rumored, and of course the Dodgers are always in the conversation. Here's why the Dodgers are in a position of strength, though. They've made it pretty clear they're not interested in handing anybody, Tucker included, a 10-year, $400 million contract. But what they might be willing to do is something like 3 years at $50 million per year. That's $150 million total, significantly less than $400 million. But the annual value is higher than what he'd get on a longer deal. That gives him flexibility to hit free agency again after a few years and potentially turn that 150 into another massive contract down the road. There's also the labor uncertainty looming after 2026. The current collective bargaining agreement expires at the end of that season, and nobody knows what happens next. Could there be a lockout? What will the new rules look like? That uncertainty makes long-term deals riskier for both sides right now. So the Dodgers are comfortable just sitting back and waiting. For Tucker, this has to be a little frustrating because that brass ring is right there. Hundreds of millions of dollars are on the table, but nobody's rushing to give him what he's asking for. Some dominoes have already fallen. Kyle Schwarber re-signed with the Phillies. They also picked up Dallas Garcia, so Tucker's fit there doesn't really work. Boston's been mentioned, but they're not moving fast. The Yankees aren't the free spending team they used to be. Even the Cubs, where he had that falling out, maybe they bring him back, but who knows? I think the Dodgers are genuinely prepared to wait until mid-January, late January, and see if Tucker's market doesn't develop the way he hoped. At that point, he might be willing to accept a shorter deal with higher annual value and opt-outs, something like $50 to $55 million per year for 1 or 2 years. Yeah, that money's going to be hard to come by, especially with the possibility of a lockout after 2026. But here's the other question the Dodgers have to ask themselves. Is it Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger? Who would you rather have? Age-wise, Cody's a little older. He'll be 31 in July. Tucker will be 29 in January. We know what Bellinger brings. He won a World Series with the Dodgers in 2020. He was National League MVP, Rookie of the Year, NLCS MVP. He hit 47 home runs in that 2019 MVP season. His production dropped off after that. He left, went to the Cubs, didn't really turn things around there, then got traded to the Yankees last year and bounced back. 29 homers, 88 RBIs, 814 OPS. Now he's looking for a deal. And I think what he brings to the Dodgers beyond the familiarity is versatility. He can play first base, left field, right field, and DH. That Swiss Army knife flexibility is something the Dodgers love. He'll also be a lot cheaper than Kyle Tucker, even on a short-term deal. If he signs for 3 years, it'll still be significantly less money. My concern with Bellinger is, why did they let him go in the first place? His offensive production fell off a cliff because of that long loopy swing. When he's on, we've seen what he can do. When he's off, he's a strikeout machine. They're not going to change his swing at this point. He's had too much success to mess with it, but it's a risk. Still, I think Bellinger's the guy. He's already had dinner with his former teammates. He's met with Will Smith. There's familiarity there. He knows the fan base, knows the organization, knows the media. It's an easy fit. I think it ends up being Bellinger. I think Tucker probably ends up in Toronto on a shorter deal because the Blue Jays are coming for blood in 2026. Let me jump into some comments real quick because you guys always have great takes. Someone said the defensive outfielder we got over the weekend should help the team in late innings. That's Michael Ciani. The Dodgers claimed him off waivers from the Braves. He's going to be 27 in July, can play all 3 outfield spots. Left-handed bat, not much offensive production, but he stole 23 bases in AAA last year. Ciani could be an interesting pickup, kind of like another Alex Call situation. If the Dodgers don't land Bellinger or Tucker and don't make a trade for someone else, Ciani might find himself in Dodger blue as a defensive replacement and pinch runner late in games. Keep an eye on him. Another comment, double middle fingers to Scott Boras. Yeah, Boras represents Bellinger, so that negotiation is going to be interesting. Someone else said we don't need any more starting pitching, just got to stay healthy and not overwork the bullpen. Agreed. The rotation is set. It's about managing workload and keeping everyone fresh. Someone asked what the holdup is with Kyle Tucker. I think at the end of the day, it's between Toronto and the Dodgers. The Dodgers are telling him, hey, we're here, 3-year deal, 50 to 55 million a year, opt out after year 2. If you can get something better, go for it. If the Blue Jays give you 10 years and 400 million, congratulations. But the Dodgers aren't doing that. Yankees aren't doing that. Red Sox maybe, but probably not. The Cubs had that falling out. The Reds and Pirates were mentioned for Kyle Schwarber, but would Tucker even want to go to Cincinnati or Pittsburgh? I don't think so. The Dodgers are leaning back saying we can offer you huge annual money on a short-term deal with opt-outs, and you get to compete for championships. At the end of the day, it's up to Tucker whether he wants that generational $400 million contract or whether he takes the higher annual value now and bets on himself in a few years. So where does that leave us? The Dodgers are playing the waiting game, and they're in a strong position to do it. Tucker's market hasn't exploded the way his camp probably hoped. Bellinger feels like the more likely option because of fit, familiarity, and cost. And guys like Ciani give them depth options if they decide to go a different route entirely. Winter meetings are continuing. We're getting closer to opening day. The World Baseball Classic is coming up. We're hearing Roki Sasaki won't play for Team Japan, but Yamamoto and Ohtani will. Freddie Freeman will probably suit up for Canada. It's going to be another truncated, weird spring training, but the Dodgers should be used to that after going international the last 2 years. All right, that's everything you need to know about where the Dodgers stand with their outfield situation and the Kyle Tucker waiting game. Drop a comment below with who you'd rather have, Tucker or Bellinger, and what you think happens next. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for being here.